If you can find a seat, that's great. If you can't, that's great too. I'm so glad you turned out. It's been awesome. Well, I hope you like what you've seen so far. This courtroom is the one place where the judges first interaction counsel when they come up here to have their arguments in our court. We debated long and hard about whether to hang the portraits of the old judges in the hallway or in the courtroom or where we really wanted to put them. In the end, we decided to hang them in the courtroom to remind us of the importance of our obligation, and also that remembering our history helps us to chart the future. So they're all watching us as we stand out there. And it's the rich history is really important. You know, the wall of pictures represents the history of this court, which celebrates its 100th anniversary in 2021. The wall on the right, with its only a handful of pictures, reminds us that the future is before us and what will come in the next century. But each of these judges tell a story. Judge Washburn, in the top row, first judge up here, from Lorain County, and Judge Funk, top row, fourth one down, from Wayne County, remind us of the roots of the district in all 4 counties. Judge Treese, top row, third judge, is a common police court judge appointed by the governor in 1921 to serve as one of the original judges on the 9th District Court of Appeals. He reminds us that our time here is precious. The year after his appointment, he was killed by a runaway truck in Akron. Judge Pardee, top row, second judge, reminds us that we are all human. He once said his greatest pleasure was that he could whistle 2 tunes. One is Yankee Doodle, and the other is not. These judges build a strong foundation for the residents of the 9th District Court of Appeals. The court will continue to serve its citizens at the highest level, offering access to justice for all because of the support of the counties to move this court into a safe, secure facility. We want to thank those of you who supported this transition. We want to recognize the judges and the other elected officials who have joined us this afternoon. Judge Theodosio will handle those introductions.
Thank you, Judge. So, I want to recognize everybody who is an elected official who is here. If you didn't sign your name and I miss you, make sure you call it to my attention. First, of course, we have the Chief Justice O'Connor. We appreciate you being here with us. All right, a number of members from Summit County Council. Gloria Rogers. If you want to stand up, Gloria, so we can. And Claire Dickinson, who used to serve on the court, is here. Claire?
Step down.
Now, although we are located here in Summit County, there was a lot of support and approval from Wayne County's commissioners, Lorain County's commissioners, and Medina County's commissioners. From Wayne County, Ron Amstutz is here. Ron, thank you. And Sue Smale. Sue. If you get a chance when you're doing your tour, each of the counties have their own arbitration room. So Wayne County has done a nice job in providing us some material for their room. It looks very nice. Of course, Summit County's executive, Eileen Shapiro, thank you. Summit County Sheriff Steve Berry is somewhere here. There he is. From Akron Municipal Court, Clerk of Courts, there he is right there, Jim Larry. Judge Dave Fish from Barberton Municipal Court. From Akron Municipal Court, Judge Jerry Larson. And Judge Nicole Walker. From the Summit County Court of Common Pleas, Judge Allison Breaux. Judge Allison McCarty. And Judge Tammy O'Brien. I see the mayor of Monroe Falls, my mayor, Debbie Armstrong. I know Judge Linda Theodosio is on her way, no need to applaud. And I see Bill Rickett here, and I don't know if Judge Rickett Mike Rickett is coming, but we want to recognize him as well. Who did we miss? Any other elected officials? Did Did I miss you, Sandra? I'm sorry. Our Summit County Clerk of Courts, Sandra Kurtz. Linda Wilson from Akron City Council. Justice Cook, the federal money. Justice Cook, of course. Come on, and we're going to have a contest because somewhere in this room is her picture when she served on the 9th District. Thank you, Judge, for being here. And thank you, Jim, for that. I talked to Judge Cook, but I didn't announce her. Anybody else?
Well, Your Honor,
Judge Kimbler?
Richard Kuda, Chief, Coventry Township
well,
Trustee.
Come up with a everyone.
Here's Judge Kimbler.
Okay.
Of course, our photographer also for the day, Rich Kuda from Coventry. Thanks, Rich, for being here. Mike, are you going to announce the Brian Clark and those individuals who worked on that? Yeah.
We had so much help from Summit County and the folks who moved everything here. We've seen some of those folks who came today. I know Jim Berry was here, but Brian Clark and Craig Stanley were the two that really helped us get everything done. If you will see our new tour, there's a lot of furniture here. It started here, and they moved all that furniture into what I refer to as the top secret location that nobody knew about because we were afraid other people would take it for their offices in the county. It stayed hidden there where only the hundreds of people a day who walk could find it. But fortunately, they wrapped police tape around it, and that scared everyone. And then, to make it easy for us, they separated into the stacks we wanted and what we didn't, so they had to move it again to do that. And then they moved it all back here. So it felt very much like one of those Sisyphus efforts as they kept pushing the rock up the wall and we kept telling them to move the furniture again. But we wouldn't be here without them. At least we wouldn't be sitting at desks without them.
A number of people from Sherry Reverend Walsh's office are here as well. All right, with that, I'm going to introduce Judge Carr, who is not only the longest serving judge on the 9th District, she's one of the longest serving appellate judges in the state. And she'll tell you how long.
And I really enjoyed everybody telling me that I look the same as I did. It's amazing how people can just lie with a straight face. Incredible. It's my honor tonight to introduce the Chief Justice of the Ohio Supreme Court, who not only is near and dear to our hearts as the Chief Justice, but also as a hometown girl here, so we're happy to have her here. But I'm going to just tell you a little bit about her from the Supreme Court's website, and I'm also going to tell you a little bit about her personally from my own experience, so watch out. Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor is the 10th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Ohio and the first woman to lead the state's judicial branch. Since assuming the state's highest judicial office in 2011, Chief Justice O'Connor has led significant reforms in Ohio, including improved access to justice. This commitment includes addressing the impact of court fines, fees, and bail practices on economically disadvantaged communities. She has focused on these issues as co-chair of the National Task Force on Fees, Fines, and Bail Practices, and as past president of the National Conference of Chief Justices. She also is immediate past chair of the National Center for State Courts, the board of directors. 2 years ago, Chief Justice O'Connor led the formation of the Regional Judicial Opioid Initiative, connecting 8 member states across multiple governmental research, academic, and law enforcement disciplines to fight the nation's drug crisis. The progress made by this first-of-its-kind effort has spawned a national organization launched recently to deal with the epidemic. Chief Justice O'Connor joined the Supreme Court as a justice in 2003 and was re-elected in 2008. Elected Chief Justice in 2010, she was re-elected to a second 6-year term in 2016. She was born in the nation's capital, and I think she'll be returning there shortly for at least a visit anyway, and raised in the Cleveland area. Chief Justice O'Connor's law and public service career spans more than 3 decades, and she still looks the same too, honestly. and includes service as a private lawyer, magistrate, common pleas court judge, and prosecutor. She also served as lieutenant governor, a post that included the directorship of the Ohio Department of Public Safety, and following the 9/11 attacks, chair of Ohio's Security Task Force. Chief Justice O'Connor earned her Bachelor of Arts degree at Seton Hill College and her Juris Doctorate from Cleveland Marshall College of Law. But before I introduce her to come up here and make some remarks, I just want to talk a little bit about her personally. I got the honor of meeting Chief Justice now, Maureen O'Connor, who is probate magistrate, Maureen O'Connor, 30 years ago, which is amazing when you think about it. And I not only saw her around the courthouse, but I got to know her personally through some mutual friends. And I was thinking as I was preparing for these remarks today, I was thinking about all the different things over the years that I've participated in and been involved with our Chief Justice. And here in Akron, I remember the campaign trail. I remember Greek Easter and Greek festivals, and Friday nights at Rockneys. And we won't say about the time that we went on a conference in Washington, D.C., and this was before 9/11, so things were a lot more open then. And we were touring the Capitol and ended up in a restricted area, but we were fine. We just looked around a little bit and got out of it. Some of you may or may not know that I actually worked for the Chief Justice when she was the county prosecutor here in Summit County. I served for a short time as her chief counsel of the civil division. And I remember some words of advice she gave me and when we worked together, and I was having an issue with an individual, and she just looked at me, she shook her head, she says, Donna, she says, always take the high road, there's less traffic. And it's so true, it's so true. And that's what I try to live my life by yet today. Now, anybody that knows our Chief Justice, especially has known her for years, knows she's tough as nails. But over the years, I've learned that not only is she tough as nails, but she is a soft-hearted individual that is loyal to friends, family, and the justice system. Maureen O'Connor is a fighter. You've already heard about some of the areas that she's fought for, and we're very proud of that here in Ohio, and she's helped a lot of people. One of the things she's fought for is access to justice for the poor and marginalized. Also fought the battle against the opioid epidemic. And most recently, she spearheaded the initiative against Issue 1 to defeat that, and thank God we were successful. Yes. But near and dear to the judges that are here right now, near and dear to your hearts, Chief Justice O'Connor led the fight for judicial pay raises, market adjustments. So it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the fearless leader of our court system here in Ohio, and just a wonderful person, Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I don't know if this mic's on or not, but my voice carries. But it is really wonderful to be here in Summit County and celebrating this new facility, the surrounds that we are in right now for the 9th District Court of Appeals. I'm very grateful to Donna Carr for that introduction. It's great to see former Justice Deborah Cook here. So when they were introducing and drawing your attention to the pictures on the wall, they're not the old judges because Judge Cook is here, it's the former judges of the Court of Appeals. So it is really an honor to be here with you today as we dedicate this brand new courtroom and the other offices to open a new chapter for lawyers and judges and court personnel who work within the 9th District Court of Appeals. I'm so glad to be here, and believe me, I know you are as well. Anybody that had worked in the Ocasek building and now works in this beautiful set of offices, the difference could not be more stark. I recall appearing before the 9th District Court of Appeals when I practiced here in Summit County, both as a private attorney and as the prosecuting attorney. Although the former home of the 9th District started out as adequate, shall we say. Like most institutions, the court's needs changed and the aging building was no longer adequate. The court needed an updated structure to provide for the needs of the judges, the bar, and the public. Now, you're in a former bank, which seems to be a great investment, a good solid building. So courtrooms should have a formal mood and character. They should be brightly lighted, and that's what I like about our Supreme Court building in Columbus. Of course, we have numerous floor-to-ceiling windows that look out on the river, but the lighting in here approximates that. So I think that it's a great space. Courtrooms also need to be in good working order, and most of all, in this day and age, they need to be safe. I understand that safety was one of your motivations for seeking a different building arrangement, and I think that that speaks for itself. That is motivation enough. I think often about the safety of judges and staff and the public that comes into our institutions. It's a delicate balance to ensure safety and yet remain open to the public. Court personnel can and do face threats, both inside and outside of the courtroom. As you recall, maybe some of you don't, but a year and a half ago, Judge Bruzzese, was ambushed and shot outside of his Jefferson County courthouse. Thankfully, he survived and has been back on the bench for some time, but that incident served as a wake-up call for all of us. As you know, the Security Office of the Supreme Court conducts comprehensive on-site safety audits of courthouses and court offices across the state. I'm happy to say that 2 members of the Supreme Court security team, John Groom and Supervisor Ryan Fayol, visited here during the setup of your new court and its offices, and they were able to give advice to your architect ahead of time as the design was taking shape that saved both time and money. On-site security is a vital service that we are happy to perform. An audit results in a booklet of suggested changes and upgrades, as well as practices and procedures. Our security team follows up with court personnel, and they remain on call to answer your questions and discuss any of your concerns. So I applaud the steps, actually the giant leaps that you've taken to make sure that the 9th District is a safe haven for justice. You've replaced the building that had unsecure entrances with new space that provides only one public entrance to the building, as well as a security desk that litigants must pass before walking upstairs to the court's secure entrance. The 9th District Security Officer now has the ability to view more than a dozen cameras, so he or she can monitor who is coming in or out of the building. And you've made other changes that reflect the changing nature of the judiciary. Besides the changes you've made to deal with the changing nature of modern courthouse operations, you also made brick and mortar changes to better deal with the stresses of severe winters in Northeast Ohio. The Ocasek building was plagued with structural problems. Some had existed for years. The failures of the roof that resulted in leaks, as well as the on-again, off-again operation of the heating and the air conditioning system, produced challenges that no one should have to address while trying to do the vital work of the court. Today marks a change. Your new court is more in sync with the changing face of justice. It is safer, and it will stand up better to Ohio's winters. Staff, lawyers, judges, participants will not be distracted by the problems that plagued the court in its prior location. Now, the staff and judges will be able to focus better on the task of addressing the cases the parties bring to the court. This new facility shall serve justice for many, many years to come. Now, I have brought with me 2 flags, both from our home, the Thomas J. Moyer Ohio Judicial Center in Columbus. Who will I present them to? Judge? One is the Stars and Stripes, and the other is the State of Ohio Burgee. The drawer here. Did you all know that that's what the State of Ohio's flag is called? Who knew that? All right, Ron, of course you did. Okay. The first one that I'm going to present to you is the Stars and Stripes. Okay, and I have a proclamation to go with that. This is the United States flag. It was flown at the Supreme Court of Ohio in the Thomas J. Moyer Ohio Judicial Center on September 17th, 2018. We hope it finds a nice home here at the court. And the second one is the certifies that the Ohio flag was flown at the Supreme Court of Ohio and the Thomas Jane Moyer Judicial Center again on the same date. So this is the Ohio Urging, and you have the Stars and Stripes as well. So they are gifts of the Supreme Court to you all, and I know they'll find a great home here in your building. So may you display both with pride as you administer justice here in Northeast Ohio. I want to thank you all for letting me speak today and help with the dedication. I want to thank, as an aside, the judges and lawyers and whomever joined in the effort to defeat issue 1. This was something that was so important that I really, credit the judges and the effort that they put forth. Once there was a call to arms, I was amazed at the organization and the operation of the judiciary individually and as a group in the individual cities and counties and joining together. What it points to me, this was not an effort that, if the prosecutors were the only ones speaking about it, it would have passed. If law enforcement were the only ones speaking against it, it would have passed. But because the judges came out en masse and spoke against issue 1, and because of the credibility of our judges, and because of the fact we don't use our collective voices very often, in fact, this is the first time that I can remember all the judges banding together, is the credibility of the judiciary. And I think we should all, as judges and those affiliated with the courts, be very proud of our record and our credibility and what we can accomplish when we are united and we speak as one. So with that, thank you all and God bless.
Thank you, Chief Justice O'Connor, for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to come and speak to us at today's event. I know that you are the reason that all of these folks are here, because I've never seen this many people in one place relative to the 9th District Court of Appeals. So we are greatly honored to have you here. Thank you also for the flags. They will be flying here as soon as we can get them up. In addition to that, thank you and your staff at the Ohio Supreme Court for always being available to us and for coming here to address our security concerns and for being very helpful in that regard, because that was a major part of the planning of our move here. And without the staff of the Ohio Supreme Court Security Office, it would not have happened as easily and as quickly as it did. I am being restricted to thanking only the Chief Justice because Judge Callahan has some additional remarks she'd like to make.
Thank you. I'm the caboose to this train, who is, actually has the honor of thanking you. But I want to say, when you have something like this, it kind of reminded me, for those of you who have to run for office, of having a fundraiser. You don't know if anybody's going to show up, or going to be embarrassed, and boy, we sure aren't. Thank you, all of you, for caring enough to be here. And this is an effort beyond what I could ever explain. It started with a thought, maybe even a dream. It involves all 4 counties, not just Summit. Thank you for Lorraine and Wayne and Medina for showing up when they had the opportunity to see the old facility and trip over the buckets that were catching the water and literally, and seeing the missing tiles in the ceiling, and but you cared, and you cared enough to give us the support to get on board. I can't say enough about everyone in Summit and your staff and how helpful they've been, and again, how supportive they've been. Mr. Coombs, are you here? Where's he? Is Mike Coombs here? He was. I saw him. Singled out. Mike, thank you.
Oh, there he is.
I have been the main pain in your rear end, I know. Thank you, really, from all of us. To our staff, if you folks could see our staff rolling up their sleeves, moving furniture, cleaning, just doing stuff above and beyond. And again, this was just a joint effort. The setup here is a square in a square. You've been in the inner square. The outer square, so to speak, or the outer sanctum, is our offices and the judicial attorney offices. And I'm guessing a lot of you might be curious and want to see, we are offering tours. There are also refreshments out in the lobby. And I think, Mike Walsh, are you out there? Okay, Mike can direct you where to go for the tours. Are we going to the mediation rooms? So anyone.
They won't all fit there, Judge. We thought there would only be like 5 or 6.
It was really bad fundraisers. No, but we have a group, again, of our wonderful staff who would love to show you our digs, so to speak. So please maybe break up, some people have something to eat first, but we'll get everybody around who wants to. And again, I think we're all just really touched that you're here. So thank you. Chief, thank you.